All right, guys, welcome back to Hobson's Choice Harleys. We're just kind of doing a review today. I spent the last week up in Colorado at my mentor Doc's house. Guy's amazing. We're building the engine on the Knuckle. Unfortunately, we had a couple machine issues with the cases that have to be machined. Did get the wheels trued, did get all the bearings and the cages and everything mic'd out and ready. So that motor is this close to being done. But I had to come back, got to pay the bills, man. So we came back. I don't know, since the last video, I did get the bias ply tire that I need to run on the back end on the 41 here. Got the new Star Hub drum brake assembly that's just beautiful, plug and play. Ended up buying this seat's a Corbin Gentry seat, which is just gorgeous. In fact, it's nicer than the Harley seats that are repopped at half the price. I got this through V-Twin of all people, and it showed up and it's stamped and marked. It's a Corbin Gentry. It's a really nice seat. So a little bit of work there. If you come around this side, you can see while I was up there, Doc went through some of his new old stock, and he's got, these are from the old Dixie Supply. So here is our Knucklehead, and I'm learning up there from him. So the Knuckleheads actually are the same as shovel. They're just 1 3/4 pipes. There's no flange. So they didn't put any flange because there's nothing to bolt onto. So you can actually use shovel head pipes, and I've got a bunch of them, but this is a tried and true Knuckle setup, which will fit down in there. So there's a brand new set of pipes for the Knuckle. The only thing that's oddball, because they don't make them in that configuration, this is the back. So this is a back drag pipe for a Knucklehead. Again, no flange. So this pipe would actually go up in here. And what the big thing is this angle and this angle are exactly what you need to fit a 2-into-1. So basically, I will put this Y pipe, which goes under the motor and bolts in just like that. And then this pipe will get measured up to the Y goes in here. And when the Y is in here, I just have to measure and cut that to length. And then basically I will have a 2-into-1 exhaust. So there's your back cylinder coming off of there. Then your front cylinder comes off of here. And then you cut this wherever you want it. And then off of here, you run just any style muffler you want. You can do a cocktail shaker, you can do a fishtail, you can do the turnout ovals. I mean, there's a lot of different ones. I haven't even looked to see what would have been authentic for this. Not real sure. You know, to have the 2-into-1 all brand new is going to be cool. So we're just going to go with that once we get the motor back. Doc's supposed to call me hopefully in the next week to 10 days and have the machining that was needed done. And then we'll get that motor assembled. So probably our next video, there's going to be a lot of still shots, like a slideshow of the whole process of truing the wheels and putting that motor together. So while I was up in Colorado and we got stopped midway through the process because of machining, I did, just on a whim, I walked out and I did this. So there's the new acquisition. That's the new horse in the stable. It's a 1965 FL. It's about as close to stock as you're going to find in this day and age. It is original paint. It's the last year Panhead. It is the first year electric start that Harley produced. A lot of 1 year only parts. It's a gorgeous machine. And I'm really blessed and lucky to have it. If we go around on this other side, you'll see a lot of stuff I didn't know. So these tanks are 5-gallon Fat Bob tanks with the fill valve through the tank. It's 1 year only. They only made those tanks 5 gallons with the through valve 1 year. So 1 year only tanks. Most of you guys know these non-removable Derby were only built 1965 through 1969. But this one has the compensator hole. So that is only 1 year and not even a full year on these. So that's period correct. The oil bag has been replaced. It should not have the side valve or the side fill. It should just be a lunchbox style with the fill in here. But that's all right. It's all good. It is a OEM Harley. The mufflers are early 70s FLH mufflers from here back, but they are Harley. Brake line's not correct. It should come under the sprocket up to here, and the chain guard should go on. I do have the right chain guard right up here. So that's the chain guard. Once I fix the brake line, it'll go on. I've got a couple of those. So very few parts. I'm thinking this is 95% or better stock. I did buy it up outside of Denver, so we were trying to get it tuned in at 9,000 feet, elevation. The bike the motor has been pulled and rebuilt from a reputable shop in Denver. It's got about 50 miles on the motor. The problem is it's set for the last year. Fired right up, it does smoke and sputter and spit just because it wasn't dialed in correctly. Then I bring it back down to Albuquerque. It's about a 5,000 foot elevation drop. So the gas that was in there was a year old. It smelled like lacquer and was kind of orange when I drained it. The oil, it was probably the break-in oil, and it had a bit of a gas smell to it. So I'm thinking that it had leaked past the rings and got in the crankcase. So I got this off the truck yesterday and I dumped the oil out of it. I dumped the fluid out of it. It's got an original M47 Linkert carburetor. The float bowl was not crushed at that washer. So when you turn on the fuel valve, it was pissing oil or pissing gas all over here. In fact, it was funny. It was dripping off the horn. And it took me a minute to figure out why the hell do I have fuel dripping off the horn? Well, it was dripping here, hitting the horn and running down. So I just pulled the air cleaner off. It is an original air cleaner, not a repop. So I do have the original air cleaner for that year with a brand new Brillo style air cleaner. The dash I do have, and it is original. It's not a repop. Hardly anything on this bike is repop, which is cool. So I did pay up for it, and I paid up for it because it's a Survivor. You don't find these bikes like this. Had a couple of the gurus that are in the groups, because I did post this on a lot of the groups, ask me how I authenticated it. So I'll just give you a brief rundown. My mentor, Doc, up there was trained in Milwaukee in the 70s. And you know, the telltale things, it has the little tits back at the back of the tanks. So they filled these, they coated these tanks in the factory, and then they drilled a hole to drain out the fluid. I think it was phosphorus based that they would line these tanks with. So the little weld tabs there where they welded it tells me they're original tanks. There's a fingerprint under here and up here. So when they finished the clear coat on the line, they would pick up that tank from here and here, and they would transport it to the rack for drying and then clear coat the rest. So those are a telltale, and that came through Doc and Palmer. If you read some of the Palmer books, there was some distinguishing factors about the striping and the way the stripes went, the width of the stripes. So I'm 99.9% confident this is original paint. This bike, when it was bought, did not have the solo seat. It actually had the holes here, so it was optioned for the most ugly seat Harley Davidson ever produced, which was right over here. I have one. It's that white or white and black banana seat, which you could actually upgrade and put that thing on a Panhead. They were mostly on Sportsters, but they did option those on these bikes. So what I got to do is I'm going to put the luggage rack on here. I'd like to put the buddy seat just because it looks good. The Solo is what came stock. The buddy seat would have been an upgrade option. So it is a two-person saddle with the steel bar across the back. Have this, I don't know what you guys call them. I call them a Christmas tree. So this did come out of the accessory book. I did find that in the Palmer manual. This came from Harley Davidson. You didn't buy it on the bike. These are all guide lights. They are all glass lens guide lights. So it lights up like a Christmas tree, and then your plate goes up in here. It's a very cool setup. Also, it came with all this garbage wagon stuff. So it came with these dresser plates that covered everything. There was the right or left side, and it also had the right side. So you could buy these in 65 for a Panhead. This one is cut out for the rear foot peg, which is different on the pan to the shovel. So this set was actually for an early shovel head, not a Panhead. And it has this hole for that side fill oil tank that I told you. So these aren't year correct, and even if they were 100% year correct and brand new, I still wouldn't run them because to me they're ugly, and there's nothing more pretty than a 1965 push button Panhead motorcycle. So that's what we got, man. We got a Survivor. Like I said, it's just fine tuning. She does run. I pulled her off the truck and ran her yesterday. We'll probably edit that little video of it running yesterday into this video. You know, the mousetrap needs adjusted. This should be chrome from the factory, not black. I've got a couple chrome covers for it. The routing on the cable, this cable, you can see the tension here. It actually should come up here and loop around to the clutch lever. And hopefully, I got to check. I got a few mousetraps. Hopefully, I've got one that's got about a 3-inch smaller cable on it, shorter cable. The brake cable, it also is very long. So it should be about 4 inches shorter. Now to shorten that, luckily those can be shortened, but that thing comes all the way down over here into this drum, and that cable loops around a little clevis pin down here, and then you tighten it, and then you adjust here. So I can pull that out and adjust it, but I have to pull the whole front wheel off to do it. So stuff like that, I'm just going to let it ride. I am going to adjust the clutch cable and the mousetrap. If you can see here, the mousetrap arm is a little bent, and I don't know, I have clearance here. It looks like it's rubbing here. So I just have to fine tune it. It just needs a TLC and kind of make it mine. Typically, if I make a bike mine or put my stamp on it, it's customizing. And this one doesn't get customizing. The only thing that's going to happen to this is fine tuning, getting it on the road the way it should be, and eventually changing out stuff like the right oil bag and the right mufflers and stuff like that. But I'm in no hurry. You know, I've had probably 50 bikes over the last few years. Never had anything anywhere close to as stock as this. This is a beautiful Survivor. It's kind of funny. I was talking to the wife this morning. 3 years ago, I had ended up shutting my business down. I lost my toy hauler to repo. I lost my tri-glide to repo. Could barely pay my bills. 3 years later, I've got a brand new 3,000 square foot shop. And in it, I'm blessed enough to have a Flathead, a Knucklehead, a Panhead, a shovel head. In the front garage, I have 2 more shovel heads. I have an Evo and I have a Twinkie, twin cam. So it's amazing what 3 years can do, what a change that can make. And by no means, guys, not showing off, just thanking the good Lord for the blessings that I have all these toys. And, you know, it's kind of our retirement plan. We figure vintage iron, when they go cashless or whatever this crazy world does, hopefully there's always a demand for this classic old stuff, not to mention the walls of parts, you know. So most of the stuff on the walls is still for sale. If there's anything that floats your fancy there or you think you need or want, give me a shout out. If you're watching me on YouTube, send me a message. I'll send you my phone number. You can call me direct. Most everything here is for sale, and else it's Panhead or Knucklehead related. That stuff pretty much stays. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps keep the channel rolling. Thanks again, guys.